Hello guys, let's go look new Reddit story.
Title: The Hidden Internet Hack That Saved My Sanity and Maybe My Life. Hey Reddit, throwaway account for reasons that'll become clear. So, I've always been a bit of a digital pack rat. Bookmarks, notes, saved pages, screenshots, random Reddit threads I swear I'll read later. You name it, I hoard it. Over time, my Chrome bookmarks turned into a dumpster fire. Like, full hoarder level chaos. I once found a bookmark that just said important, with no context, and the link was dead. That's how bad it got. Anyway, 2 years ago, I hit a rough patch. I won't trauma dump, but life spiraled. Lost someone close. Jobs started circling the drain. I was mentally checked out and running on autopilot. I didn't even realize how isolated I'd become until one night. I was sitting in the dark, 3 monitors glowing, and I thought, when was the last time I spoke to a real person outside of work? And that's when this weird little internet hack I'd half-jokingly created saved me. Let me back up. The hack. So here's the actual tip, which might sound silly at first. I created a private subreddit and turned it into a second brain/life tracker. That's it. Just me, my private subreddit, and some basic Reddit formatting. But the way I used it became something else entirely. At first, it started because I needed a better way to organize all the info I found online, productivity stuff, mental health advice, cool AI tools, life tips, quotes that slapped, etc. Bookmark folders weren't cutting it. Ever try to find that one obscure blog post from 3 months ago about why you never feel rested even after sleeping 10 hours? Good luck with that in a sea of unsorted junk. Reddit, however, gave me a structured place where I could post, tag, search, and even cross-link stuff. It's like Notion, but disguised as shitposting. I called my private sub r/ControlRoom. Yeah, a little dramatic, but it felt like I was the operator of some unseen ship trying not to crash. Here's what I did. I created different flair tags: mind, body, tech, finance, tools, dark days, wins, random, archived, etc. Each post had a purpose. Some were actual notes, summaries of threads, YouTube vids, articles. Others were logs of my moods or thoughts. Even just today sucked. Didn't get out of bed. Felt like a ghost. I let those live under the dark days flare. When I discovered a good resource, like a surprisingly helpful TikTok on setting boundaries, I'd post the link and summarize it in my own words. Future me would thank past me every time. I even built routines by scheduling drafts and posting daily check-ins. Not automatically, just me logging in and typing, "Okay, what's the plan today?" And the wild part? It worked. The descent. Back to that night in the dark. I was scrolling through our /control room instead of doom-scrolling Twitter or Reddit's front page. It was all me. My words, my fears, my little victories. I saw how many times I'd bounced back from a bad day. I saw patterns in my behavior that no therapist had ever pointed out. I saw one post titled, "Don't Believe the Voice Today," which I'd written months ago during another dark spiral. It had a list of counter-arguments to the intrusive thoughts I knew would come. It was like a care package from past me. I cried. Like, ugly sobbed. Then I posted in the sub. Today's log, dark days. I'm not doing great, but I'm not gone. I think that counts for something. Found the "Don't Believe the Voice" post. Thank you, past me. I needed that more than I can say. I don't know what happens next, but I'll be back tomorrow. I was back the next day, and the next. It became a ritual. After that night, something shifted. I didn't magically get better or start running marathons and meal prepping quinoa bowls, but I showed up to our /control room every day. Even if it was just to post, "Did nothing today," still here. Over time, I started noticing patterns. I went back and added meta posts, posts about posts. I'd tag weeks with themes: anxious week, overcompensating week, numb week. It started to resemble a weird self-documented documentary of my mental state. I'm telling you, the search function in your own private subreddit is criminally underrated. I typed in "panic attack" and found 10 different logs I'd written when I thought I was dying. I started to track symptoms, sleep patterns, triggers. You ever realize your worst spirals tend to hit 3 days after poor sleep and high caffeine? Because I didn't, until my dumb little subreddit told me. I added an index post, stickied at the top, a table of contents of my own mind, my anti-anxiety toolkit, sleep experiments, what to remember when I hate everything, wins that felt impossible, Don't trust 3 a.m. thoughts. How I handle that specific dread after Sunday 6 p.m. Okay, that last one sounds dramatic, but if you know, you know. Eventually, I started treating it like a digital garden. I'd go back and edit old posts, add updates. Sometimes I'd correct old thoughts. Like, I'd read a post where I was convinced my friends hated me, and now I'd add a note like, "Update, I was projecting. They were just busy. We're fine." It felt like time travel. Like I was watching the character development of someone I was trying to root for, even when they sucked. Real life side effects. Here's where it got spooky. That little system started bleeding into my real life. In a good way. I remembered birthdays because I kept a people I care about post with notes like, "Text Sarah on April 9th, even if you feel weird." I applied for jobs I thought were above me and documented the whole terrifying process under the flare leaps. I stopped doom scrolling. Seriously, I'd open Reddit and go straight to my sub. I got better at explaining myself to others. When I finally started therapy, I had an entire archive of thoughts, breakdowns, progress, triggers, timelines. My therapist said I was the most self-observant client she'd ever had. I just shrugged and said, "Reddit." The weirdest thing? It wasn't even that much work. I just redirected what I was already doing, reading, saving, overthinking, into one place. That's all. The secret feature. Here's a thing not many people know. Reddit lets you customize your own sub with CSS and sidebars and all that. I went minimal. Clean white. Soft gray text. No distraction. The header just says, "Welcome back, operator." I know, kinda sci-fi, but it made me feel like this version of me, the one typing into this void, mattered. Like I was showing up to a job, the job of being a functional human being, I guess. One time, I added a post titled "Emergency Protocol" and pinned it. Inside was a list. Don't make any big decisions right now. Drink a full glass of water. Turn your phone off for 10 minutes. Lie down with no music, no screens, just breathe. If you're still spiraling, text one of these 3 people, names redacted. Remember this, you've been here before. You're not broken. You're tired. I've used that post more times than I care to admit. A glitch in the system. So here's the thing. This whole time, our /control room was private. Locked down tight. I triple-checked the settings. Only I had access. No one else could see my posts, my ramblings, my breakdowns. It was my sanctuary. My bunker. My mirror. Except, one day it wasn't. It started with a comment. Yeah, a comment. It was on a post I'd made a week earlier titled, "I don't know who I am without the sadness." One of those real raw 3 a.m. posts. The kind you write, not to be poetic, but because the walls are closing in and you need somewhere to put it. The comment said, "I don't know who I am without mine, either. But maybe we're more than just what hurts." I stared at it for a full minute, then reloaded the page. Thought maybe I was hallucinating, but it was still there. A real person. In my private subreddit. I went straight to the settings. Checked everything. And sure enough, the sub was still marked private. Just me as mod. No approved users. No invitations. Nothing. Reddit's logs didn't show anything weird. No changes. No sign of a breach. I'd med the user. "How did you find my subreddit?" They didn't respond right away. In fact, I didn't hear from them for 3 days. And those 3 days felt endless. I stopped posting. It felt like someone had broken into my diary and left a note on the page. But finally, they replied. "I didn't mean to find it. I think I got here by accident. But I read your posts. They helped me. I'm sorry for intruding." I didn't know how to respond. Half of me was freaked out. The other half kinda wanted to know more. So I messaged back. Accidentally. Reddit doesn't just recommend private subs. The user, their handle was something like at Dawn and Fragments, explained that they'd been deep in a rabbit hole of mental health posts, bouncing from old threads, saved comments, AMAs, even deleted stuff via third-party sites. Somehow, they'd landed on a cached version of a ControlRoom post I must have accidentally made public at some point, or cross-posted without realizing. They followed the trail and landed inside. Still doesn't make sense, if I'm honest. But that's the internet for you. Sometimes it glitches. Sometimes it opens a door you didn't mean to open. At first I thought about banning them, locking it all back up, making a new subreddit, nuking the old one. But then I didn't. Opening the hatch. I messaged them again. Asked what posts helped. They listed 4, almost word for word. One of them was a half poem I'd written during a panic attack, trying to describe how it felt to breathe through syrup. They said it made them feel less alone. Something cracked in me when I read that, because I'd felt alone for so long. And this stranger had used my broken thoughts like stepping stones, had climbed out of a hole using words I wrote to survive my own. So I made a decision that honestly changed everything. I opened our /ControlRoom to one other person. Just them. I added them as an approved user. Suddenly, it wasn't just my secret bunker anymore. It became a two-person black box, a tiny digital lifeboat. They started posting, too, using my flares, making logs, leaving comments on mine like breadcrumbs. Sometimes, I'd log in and see their today's check-in post sitting there. And it felt like, I don't know, like being seen without being watched, heard without having to speak out loud. We never shared real names, never asked where we lived. We kept it weirdly sacred, just two people in a shared headspace. And somehow, that felt safer than any friendship I'd had in years.